From Love Create Celebrate. Welcome back to our channel where we share all of our DIY and home renovation videos. Today I'm doing one of my favorite videos, which is my fall dollar store DIYs. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more dollar store DIYs. I'm doing this video as part of the DIY Mummies DIY and Decor Challenge for fall. So if you want to check out the playlist, I will be linked in the description. Definitely check it out to get a ton of amazing fall inspiration. Last year I did some fall DIYs that you guys loved. Turning dollar store supplies into amazing decor is one of my absolute favorite things to do around here. It's so affordable, and if you can make it look like it didn't come from the dollar store, that's a huge win in my book. So I'm going to tackle some more dollar store projects today. I hope you guys like them. Let's get started. My first project for today is so simple I can barely call it a DIY, but it was completely inspired by this little vase that I found. Once I found it, I looked around and found these bamboo skewers and knew that I could make a cute little diffuser for fall out of these. The other things you need are some carrier oils, some rubbing alcohol or vodka, and essential oils. I started by pulling out 5 to 10 bamboo skewers to use. The great thing about a bag like this is that once the bamboo skewers become saturated, you can always reach into your bag and use a few more, but you will be able to flip these ones over a few times and get some good use out of them. Then the first thing you need to do is add your carrier oil. You can use any oil for this, olive oil, avocado oil, but I recommend using something light like fractionated coconut oil so it travels up the bamboo sticks faster. Then add your rubbing alcohol or vodka. Again, this is supposed to help the oils move up the sticks faster. And then add 25 to 30 drops of some beautiful essential oil scents that you have. I used a calming mixture that I already had on hand. Next, I cut off the pointy end of my bamboo skewers. You don't have to do this, but I found that mine were a little bit tall and I wanted to be able to flip them around nicely, so I cut off one side so they would look blunt on both ends. Then just place all your sticks inside, and there you have a new diffuser for fall. I love the way this ended up looking. It's so cute. The vase is so nice. I probably will double up the oils next time, but I love the scent that it gives off throughout the day. Dollar store DIY number 2 involves this set of wooden blocks that I found. Guys, I have so many ideas for these blocks. I promise they're gonna reappear in my Christmas DIY video, but for now, the only part I'm using is these 2 little half circles. I actually have 2 boxes of these, so I have 4 half circles to work with. Then I also picked up a pack of 4 natural wood planks, thin wood planks, and I'm going to join these pieces into a little plant stand. I started by taking the wood sheets and gluing them together with a little bit of wood glue. One sheet on its own just didn't give enough height for me, and I found the 4 together worked perfectly. Once I had them glued, I held them together as even as I could and wiped off any excess glue that accidentally seeped out, and then clamped them together while they dried. And make sure to double check for any glue seeping out after they are clamped, because the glue will not stay nicely and you want to make sure it is all wiped off. The next day I removed all of the clamps and added the half circles to the bottom, which are acting as the little feet on my plant stand. Once again, I added these guys with wood glue. I just put a little bit of glue on the bottom and then tried to line the corners of the piece up with the outside rim of the circle. Once I had a piece in place, I clamped it down and again wiped off any glue that accidentally seeped out. When all of the glue was dry, I stained the entire piece with my favorite dark walnut stain. And then since this is going to be a plant stand, if I put real plants on here, it's very likely to get wet. So I also wanted to protect it with polyacrylic. I did a quick coat of polyacrylic and let that set as well. I love how it turned out. The circle with the circular feet gave it kind of a mid-century modern vibe, and I'm here for it. I love the whole piece. DIY number 3 involves these foam pumpkins and also some velvet fabric sheets that I found at the dollar store. And I guarantee I will be doing more DIYs with these because velvet fabric is amazing. I have always wanted to try my hand at some little velvet pumpkins, and when they had all of the materials at the dollar store, I thought, now I have to. So right away I noticed the velvet is see-through and I did not want to have orange peer through. So step number 1 was to take the stem off and spray paint my pumpkins white. When it came to actually wrapping the pumpkin, I started by cutting the velvet into a square that I knew could reach the center of the pumpkin from all sides. Once I had a piece the right size, I used some scissors to put a hole in the top of the pumpkin. Even though I was able to make a pretty decent sized hole in the pumpkin, I still wasn't able to shove the fabric in, so I ended up digging through and pulling some of the styrofoam out of the center as well. When the pumpkin was ready, I cut off the corners of my velvet fabric square because it was just excess material that I didn't need, and then I got to work wrapping the pumpkin with velvet. I didn't even use glue for this because the fabric held itself in place, so I just went around the pumpkin, pulling from the same side and gradually tucking the fabric into the hole I had made. I did this a few times so that I had a couple of gray pumpkins and a couple of white pumpkins that I could use to decorate my shelves with. And finally, since I was not a fan of the green stems that came with these pumpkins, I painted them brown quickly and glued them back in place. I thought they looked so cute when they were done. I ended up using them to style my coffee station for fall, and I think they look adorable sitting on the shelves. Perfect modern fall decor for only a few dollars. And for DIY number 4, if you have some plants you're going to bring inside to avoid the frost, this simple planter might be for you. I found these half-round foam dowels at Michael's a while back, and I've been dying to come up with a project to use them for, and I thought this wooden planter would be perfect. My plan is to wrap the planter with foam dowels, and I started by measuring the planter box and then transferring that measurement onto my foam dowel and cutting it as straight as I possibly could. You don't want these to look too short, so if anything, err on the side of a little bit longer, and I'll show you how to trim them down after. Once I knew they were going to fit, I went ahead and cut enough to cover the entire box. The foam dowels themselves cost about $3 Canadian or $2.25 US, and I needed 8 of them, so there is a little bit of money in buying these foam dowels, but I still spent less than 25 Canadian, and I think that this planter looks a lot more expensive than that when I'm done, so I think it's totally worth it. Once I had them all cut, I needed a way to keep them lined up at the top because I knew that was going to be the difference between this looking high-end and looking like a dollar store craft. So I ended up clamping a ruler along the top edge and letting them hang over the bottom edge a bit because it wasn't as important. Once I had them all in place, I glued them down with my favorite fast drying glue, which I will link in the description below. Then I continued the exact same process on the other 3 sides as well. When I was done, I did have a few pieces that I had cut too long, and I just took a little crafting X-Acto knife and I just cut the edges really carefully. The bottom edge doesn't have to be as perfect. The most important edge is the top, so even if it comes out a little bumpy or a little rough, you'll never notice. And finally, I wanted to paint the entire piece. In retrospect, I probably could have just painted the box first and then added all the foam pieces, but I wasn't sure when I started what color I wanted this to end up, so I'm just spray painting it all now, and I chose to spray paint it white. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think it looks so chic. I've seen similar kind of textured planters that cost a lot more money, so I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Really unique and really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed those dollar store DIYs. If you did, let me know in the comments and let me know which one was your favorite. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that bell so you'll be notified of more great DIY and home renovation videos. Thanks for watching!